Okay then, on the bottom side we have a spawn of deities of death, and as it seems a brigade is playing pocket for them, which is kinda normal, or rather I don't know right now if it is a good position or not, but I would say it is, because it means that both the Zeuses from Deities of Death are on the side, which means they will be able to defend quite occasionally, and well, Brighead is dropping a dog at kinda normal position, hoping that he will spawn some extra fish right there, but in the meantime, before he finishes it, let's have a look in his base. We see that he does have at least one boar, which should be the source of the food early on, especially with the ox cart in reasonably close on the wood line on the left, and otherwise DC seem to be okay and out of range of siege, at least for him, from the water, but I already spy something on the minimap that might be in the range of siege ships from the water on the right side and such. The first fish is kinda okay, yeah, one on the left and two on the bottom, so that's kinda normal spot for him. And let's have a look at someone else from his teammates. First will be Rangers on the left, playing some of the first Zeuses, and he also has pretty good starting position right in the middle of these fishing spots, which should result in pretty decent time of the boats returning back to home. Gold at the back is pretty much okay, and some first relic that's wow, faster infantry build time. Well, you can imagine how super strong this is going to be in Mythical Age for the Zeuses here, so definitely looking forward to that, and some other relic here. Well, Myth units training time down. Okay, so that's also pretty great for Colossi again in the Mythical Age. So once these guys advance into Mythic, that's going to be a real ride here. So house right next to the wood line here, and the storehouse. Well, and otherwise, do we see the boar here as well? And yeah, it's pretty far away, so that's the reason why Colorboy actually didn't go for it, and he went for just the piggies, and he is having slight problems with getting enough of them, but that should be just in time, looking at the amount remaining on the dead piggies here. Killer Boy just now saying, yeah, exactly the observation that I had. He has problems fighting anything. Well, he will have to do a whole lot better if he wants to survive with proper Zeus start. Shin spot's kinda okay, even though they're not all that close, so it will be a bit harder for him to defend, and he's right now hoping there's something on the left that he could defend with the second dock, which there is, so second dock will probably be somewhere around here. And, well, let's have a look somewhere else, and that's going to be TSM player as the first to have a look at from TSM team. It's already getting with 5 piggies on the wood there from the storage house, having quite a decent amount of piggies and going for the temple as well. We are at 240, so that's a pretty decent time, and his dog seems to be at a pretty reasonable spot. The 2 drops right beside it and the 3 some in the middle as well, and I expect something will be here in the darkness also. Some kind of relic on the right side that's building pierce attack. Okay, that's actually pretty great here. Quite obviously, I think it does apply to dogs as well, and if it really does, then that's going to be pretty great for them, obviously. 10% villagers farming rate, okay, I don't really need to mention how great that is, and temple being dropped by Sensui, who is also playing the pocket, so similar to the non-Zeus players for DoD, the same is going on for TSM. Otherwise, at the back, some piggy here that's not yet gathered, or rather clicked in for the yellow player, some gold at the back, and otherwise decent woodline. Piggy is kinda okay as well, and well, fishing spots quite bountiful here, and this is going to be a pretty good spot for a second dock, I would say. The last to have a look at for TSM is Fan as a Zeus, of course, already advancing into Athena, 20%, so that's going to be like 420 advance, which is pretty fast, and already second dog being built at a pretty reasonable spot. He will have a pretty good connection to this fishing spot and possibly something in the darkness as well. In the forefront, the hunt is kind of far away, or hunt fishing spots are kind of far away, so yeah, that's going to be a bit harder to defend, but still seems to be kind of okay, and it seems like Sensui is going from the left and will be interested in some aggression, because he is having all 3 oracles in the same spot, and Brighead is the first to advance through Freya, and of course there's going to be some forest fire. 80% for Killer Boy into Athena, and Hermes is going for Rangers, and player is going what? Also Hermes, so pretty much the same choice of gods for all the players from both teams. So second dog here as well, and everybody is going for it. And here we have, yep, one of the earlier tree lines getting destroyed by the forest fire, and that's a pretty big one. But still, Fan was already gathering at 2 spots because he's expecting this, and that shouldn't result in that much of a problem as it was the smaller one of those two. Just 4 wheelies here and 7 on the left. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Hen ducks being researched, or rather already researched for Fan. Same goes for Rangers, and I would expect similar for all the Zeuses here, and it seems I'm pretty much right. It's expected, as this is the standard start on Mediterranean, and well, Brigade is the first one to have some boats on the water and already heading into attack here. He will be slightly late to be first on the battlefield altogether, but still he should be more or less fine with everybody. We are at a pause for unspecified reasons at this point, so I'm not exactly sure what it is. But maybe Fan needs to do something. But well, right now we are back into the game, so let's wait for the first battles here. Sensui's idea of harassing his opponent is right now being stopped, as Rangers has found his oracles that were a bit too offensively placed. Well, that's a bad news for him, as he won't be able to take down the docks with 8 of the Minotaur from his teammate. Yeah, Brigade's Valkyrie already going into the attack as well. And Rangers' scout just making sure that he knows what's up at the back. Already sending the piggy at the back so that he has a line of sight for potential underworld passage. So moving on onto battle on the water, we see that it's so far basically just 2v2 on the right side and 1v1 on the left between Rangers and Fans. So let's see how this will go. This will be heavily in players' hands because the weaker boats from Sensui are not going to decide the battle really. So if player plays up to his standard, as he does, and he's pretty good in team games and especially on Merit as a Zeus, he should be making up for the disadvantage in Sensui's boats, and with some reasonable use of restoration he might be good to go. At this point though, I would have to say that Dots are having slight advantage in the numbers of good ships, and they are doing pretty well with their microing. Sensui is attempting as well, but at this point it's more or less equal, and it will take a few battles and a few minutes to actually change this. We also see that Fan is sending some units onto the right side, so that's a basically 3 versus 2, which is at the same time not a good fight for the DoDs. So let's have a look at the left. Okay, so that's basically a TSM Fan abandoning his fight against Rangers, and Rangers is using some very nice Pegasi here to actually absorb some damage from the enemy ships, but there are none to be had, which means he has a free reign of the left side and is destroying the economy from both Sensui and Fan. Let's see if that's going to be enough, destroying the economy on the water, because so far TSMs are right now being 3 at one side, destroying all the military on DoD's right side as well. DoDs are kind of waiting for Rangers to go back into the battle, which he will in just a moment. He's already moving there, but he's having quite enough ships on the left together with Pegasi to actually take out fence reinforcements at the same time, which means that strategically wise, so far it seems to be slightly better going for Deities of Death. Yeah, right now it seems like player together with Sensui are trying to catch our Rangers at a bad spot, and Killboy is casting the Restoration, and was it the correct one? It seems like at this point, because Sensui was caught in a pretty bad spot and he lost some ships needlessly, but it allowed Fan together with player to retreat, and they have a pretty good navy right now. A lot of boats from player, quite a lot of them from Fan as well, who has been able to kill some of the Rangers reinforcements from the left, and well, right now I kinda expect that we will see restoration from TSMs as well. Yep, Fan is right now casting it on player who had the more damaged ships. Well, this means a disengagement of the battle and some free time to actually get rid of those Pegasi. I'm just right now waiting for TSM to pick up on this and make use of them as well. Looking at the minimap, nobody is switching to land, so this is full on water battle so far. Well, those Pegasi could make the difference if TSM are not careful and microing properly. It's pretty much as equal battle as it goes. so far, even though Rangers is kind of far behind, but that's because he's not fully engaged in the battle. He's using a bit of his boats to actually stop the reinforcements, which is just as important, because it means that TSM might be surprised if they find themselves in a bad battle near the enemy docks. Rangers is finally moving in with some extra Pegasi as well. Although I would be kind of worried that he is not supplying enough boats, because the Pegasi are nice, but with a proper micro, they're not all that useful, as they might be otherwise in low-level games. So far it seems that on the right side a player is doing pretty well and basically killing Killer Boy in a mini 1v1 inside the bigger battle, as Killer Boy is right now at pretty low numbers, and well, Fen is finding himself in a kind of tight spot together with Sensui, and yeah, they have to do some maneuvering here. And they are being right now taken away from the battle by those Pegasi, so they are doing their job. Don't say that they are not. Well, finally this is a kind of a big engagement, and it could be a game-breaking engagement, because Killer Boy is having literally nothing here, just some 4 boats. It's like nothing, while player seems to be at 2 TCs and pretty much popped, so he's the first one to actually advance, or rather develop somehow on the land, and well, otherwise it seems like nobody else from DoD is switching into the land either at this point, so yeah, definitely an advantage going on in TSM side. And they are already been on points quite substantially, 1700 for a player, and the best from DoD's Brigade is at 1400, so that's quite a difference right there. Brigade at the same time is the only one from DoD's with some substantial navy at this point, as Rangers is not having all that much of it, but he's going for some extra raiding, trying to deny at least economy, as the ODs are slowly realizing that they have lost the water here, and they are finally transitioning into land as well, with Rangers trying to capture his front EC, and well, actually, since we know about it, this is out of his range, so probably not, so it might be a slight surprise if that happens. Ben is right now together with Sensui returning back home, trying to contain Brighead together with Rangers as well, which should happen in just a matter of moments, and player is right now left alone to deal with the remaining army that's going to pop up from those docks here, if it is. At the same time, it doesn't seem like it will, so it means that TSM player and TSM's overall have won the water at this point. This is just last Hail Mary from both Brigade and Rangers to somehow make TSM overcommit on the water and slow them down. This is not happening so far, as Bolt has been cast on Brigade's Valkyrie that has just discovered that Fen is capturing second TC and already planning on some gold gathering somewhere else, and well, this is quite interesting, as Sensui is jumping on the on the land quite strongly with capturing second and third TC, but same can be said for Brighead, and well, Rangers already getting third TC as well, and Killer Boy is at second already too. Player having 3, so he is the first one to go for some reasonable land domination, and well, will he be fast enough? Well, we see soon enough, because this TC is still free for the taken, and Killer Boy is so far not going for it, and well, I think Sensui was just at the correct time to see if somebody from Reds is going for it. Yep, the Centaur right now having a look as well. And moving back to the water, there's just a few remaining boats from DoDs, trying to make sure that TSM somehow make a bit too many boats, or they like it. Right now, though, they have stopped. They have numbers enough to actually kill everything that they need. Yep, it's just a question of time before all this is gone. So we might be having a look if somebody is going for some land army. It seems like Fan is going for stables and some Toxotai, and he will be going for a 30C as well. And Rangers, even though he went for the front TC first, it's not having enough, as he just finished his military buildings, which is just that too late, and won't be good enough to stop this TC from coming up as well. So this battle is not going to result into anything meaningful, and well, the player is taking his responsibilities quite seriously, going for some double archery range at the top, but he can't underestimate the position, as Killer Boy already had both heroes up together with the Minotaur as well, and the walling is not going to be finished this easily, which means the TC should be coming into Killer Boy's power, and yep, it will be proper 3v3 with all 6 players having 3 TCs. I don't really think that player will be in a position to stop this from happening. Looking at some of the TCs, how far they are from the water, I don't really see any problems anywhere for DoDs and for TSMs either. It seems everything is far from the shore, so there shouldn't be problems really with that if some shenanigans with siege boats happen to be going on. Well, still nothing going on the right side, so let's have a look if somebody's advancing into the heroic at this point. I would kind of expect not yet, as everybody should be going into heavy echo, but Sensui nonetheless is advancing. And maybe Fen, he was kind of the first to go for some decent booming, but he is right now aiming for some extra army to protect against his enemies. And let's check their TCs as well. So Rangers, is he advancing? Not yet. So Brighead has a pocket, maybe. No, he isn't, but he is still at just 2 TCs, as he lost TC. I think he did have 3, so he may be just misclicked or just made it free for his allies, potentially, as 40 Zeus could be more powerful than the Thor. So let's see if that will be the case here. And well, Brighead seems to be going on the right side, while Senso is going on the left, so that's going to be quite interesting fights here, because the 2 versus 1 is first happening on the left between Fan together with Sensui against Rangers alone, and yeah, this is just a bit too late for Brigade to join Killer Boy, with Killer Boy having literally no army at this point, and player might be just able to hang on long enough to allow his teammates on the left to somehow surprise the opponents. So far though, they are not really advancing all that much, as they don't really have any siege or not even hoplites, just some stable units together with archers, but they will be able to shoot at this tree line and deny some extra economy from their opponents. So Brigade is through Bragi, so that means both pockets are advanced. Well, very nice use of the archer ships, and otherwise it's just a clean up on the water and not much else going on. This Pegasus is definitely going to be important for the Underworld Passage most assuredly, as will this Kataskopos for a player, basically waiting for the same reason here, and well, player is having a look around, trying to make sure that he isn't surprised by anything, and here we see that player is through Apollo, and market is already dropped by Brighead, who will be switching into some faster Mythic with 3 TCs. So let's see how that will work out for him. Probably we'll going to see Balder, yep, already in. So that's going to be some super fast Ragnarok it seems. And well, he will probably go through the right side and hope that his teammate Killer Boy will be just on time with his advance into Heroic and potentially Mythic. Right now already into Apollo, but they better hurry because the double on the left from Fen and Sensu is getting stronger by the minute, and Rangers will maybe need help quite soon if some siege join in, or he definitely doesn't need siege because he can use just the destroyers from a palace nearby, which I think will be cropping up sometime soon. Yep, he already is, and one is already down, so that's going to be the unit of choice for him. Rangers should be advancing those soon as well. Yeah, he will be the last from the Zeuses to actually advance, I think. And Sensu is already through Mythic, so he's damn fast. Damn fast, and the age advantage is most definitely in TSM's favor. And I think that the Ragnarok from Brigade is going to be the only thing that might somehow salvage the game for Deities of Death. Right now, Rangers have to be careful here because, of course, Turmas are a pretty good unit against archers. And well, he better raid here, and he's doing a pretty good job of that, denying Rangers some of the gold gathering, which might be important later on. Especially when we see the extra battles here of Dryads and Brady together with some decent army from Fen joining in the fun. We have a Tartarian gate being cast in an attack here, and that's in an attempt to actually stop Rangers from development, and it's a pretty sweet spot because this should result in a lot of houses being killed, and that might be a slight problem for Rangers if they are killed at an opportune time. So here we have a ceasefire because Rangers found himself in a pretty bad situation, and well, on the bottom side we also see that player is already with some extra units at the very back, trying to maybe have his opponents to somehow panic leave the front line open, which it kinda is at this point, and where player is having quite a decent army already into Mythic through Hephaestus, so yeah, H advantage again, have to stress it out. Vault being cast and some extra Catapscopos from Killer Boy here as well, so they better be careful, and they are already preparing for it, as Fen is well aware that something is going on here, and he is trying to protect this gold so that he is surprised by some nastiness at the back, and that's already why he is building military barracks, or rather academy at the back as well, together with Watchtower, because he fully expects the shenanigans to come into play quite soon. These yellow dots are just a bit of a trade here, and let's go back to the left, where Sensui has reinforced his attacking force with some destroyers, which is exactly the unit that they need. And well, it seems like Rangers has researched at least medium beacons, which is just a good unit enough, which could stop him. Together with some extra hoplites here, well, it might be enough, but they better hurry because those destroyers are not being targeted and they are doing pretty well against the TC. Underworld passage from the right side onto the left is now open, but it might be in a pretty bad spot because it's well in range of this Petrobola, and if player can somehow realize this and saw it, he might be able to actually take it down and basically nullify one of those underworld passages from the OSDs, which should be pretty terrible at this point, I have to say. At the same time, this full triple is doing its job and repelling the attack from both Sensui and Fan without any problem whatsoever. But with the defensive position here and the sky passage here as well, I don't really expect that dots should be taking the forward base down without heavy losses to themselves. The TC on the right side is already lost, and this should result in Sandro's passage being gone as well, because Colossi here is doing pretty well against it, and well, the Helepoli is very interested in going there as well, though Killer Boy has his own Colossi in attack here together with some Fire Giants, and Odysseus needs to make an appearance and take care of these pesky mythical units. Bit of a repairing going on from Killer Boy, so yeah, you should send some of those Petrobolai maybe through this way. That would be a bit of a surprise and could take down the underworld passage, but it seems that not enough villies are tasked on it, and it will go down nonetheless. I will have it clicked, so let's just continue watching it, and at the same time look what's happening on the left, where the TC has been taken down, as we have seen, and will they maybe prevent it from coming back up? At this point it doesn't seem so, as they are not attacking anymore, but just at the nick of time, and yes, they are stopping it. Just literally a few hit points before finished, and looking at the underworld passage, it seems like the Colossi has been taken down, so let's have a look back there. TC done, so no reason to stick to this position. Unfortunately for a player, his Petroboy were killed right at the last moment, but once he's through this wall, he will be sending enough units, and the Helepoli right through, actually going through underworld passage, and once it's gone, and if it is gone while the army of deities of death is on the left, that would be pretty terrible and disastrous at the same time, because it would basically give player a free way into the TC to capture it without any problem whatsoever, and let's see how that develops. Yep, they better be careful here on the left side, even though Fan together with Sensui are doing damn well, and it takes all three armies to defend against just two players from TSM. So pretty good job, and I would expect that this position on the right is pretty much lost for the deities of death, and the TC won't be coming up for DoDs anytime soon. Yeah, Bellerophon is trying to make himself count with taking down the Helepoli, and well, extra guys like the Myrmidons are trying to take down what they can, but they are not exactly the right unit, especially fighting against red guys in Hypaspists, and well, also some throwing axemen, so Myrmidons are not exactly the correct unit, and he should be switching into something much more useful, like possibly hoplites or archers. Yep, but he needs to research them first for that to happen. Finally, Killer Boy making an appearance back on the water, trying to somehow put TSM in an uncomfortable position, which could be happening, but well, it seems like player somehow underestimated the position here, as he thought he had it very easily, but since he was using the wrong unit, he couldn't defend well enough, or rather attack well enough, and he just lost quite a lot of units there. On the left though, the game is definitely going in Sensui and Fan's way. and that resulted in the Ragnarok being cast by Brickhead, and he is moving with his armies where right now. I see a bit of a movement onto the right on the minimap, but also on the left, so it seems he is switching onto both sides, but the underworld passage is definitely gone. And it seems like not from the right side, but from the left. And player is still doing quite a good job, even though he's using all the wrong units. And come on, switch finally the boost Myrmidons off. They are not gonna do any good against all those Hypaspists. The underworld passage is gone, with just one left for Deities of Death, but TSM having both ready and available, but well... Oh, I almost saw this as an actually empty TC, but it was just a yellow, and no, it wasn't empty, it was just a visual illusion for me, optical illusion, so sorry for that. But anyway, where are the heroes of Ragnarok? Still not arriving at the battle scene on the right side, and we have another underworld passage going back into the battlefield somewhere. I didn't really catch where it was cast, but all I see is on the left the battle not going very well, and here it is. Okay, here it is, right into the middle of the island, through the line of sight of these sea ships, and that's a big problem. Even though both Sensui and Fen have prepared for this eventuality, they are not really prepared for this, and flaming weapons are cast, and this is a ceasefire situation, quite indeed. And well, at very right time, because Fen was anticipating this quite nicely, already sending his Willies in to capture the DC, and that's going to be a problem, because Fen is very nicely upgraded, having Myrmidons and having almost the full line of upgrades, and he will be now at 4 DCs with Rangers just at 2, and that's very bad news for him, as Rangers is not anywhere near with the upgrades. Now he's looking for yellow, having pretty nice upgrades as well, and on the right side, even though Killer Boy is right now being able to recapture his DC and having upgrades pretty much similar to Fen. How's it looking for our player? He was the first one to advance into Mythic, from the Zeuses, that is, and he is already at full upgrades, so he better be careful with the unit composition, as yeah, finally switching into the Hypaspis and leaving the Myrmidons out the doors, which is the correct choice. Player right now already having a Titan, so he might be going for it as well. Second underworld passage for DoD has been cast to actually somehow manage this attack on his opponents, and well, with Hypaspis finally making an appearance and Fen having quite enough military academy here and enough towers, this should result in the Ragnarok, even with full upgrades, to basically do very limited damage, if any. It will somehow mess up Sensui quite a lot, but not enough, I think, to actually decide the game and turn it on its head. Quite a lot of green here, but Arcusai as well, and the extra fire from those towers. TSMs definitely were prepared quite well for this eventuality, and this Sky Passage, that's a pretty nice help here as well. So Fen is continuing to push on the left, even though he's not really giving it his full, because he needs to defend in the home base to protect his trade route and everything around that. And well, Fen right now, I kinda think he should take down the underworld passage first and then take care of these guys, because yeah, they won't be going anywhere if the underworld passage is gone. Brickhead is the first one to cast the Titan Gate, so let's see how that happens, how that goes for him, because I think multiple TSMs are ready for the Titans as well. We have a bolt he cast at the back, which was at the Kataskopos, because they were expecting the underworld passage at the back of their bases. And right now, TSMs don't have a line of sight there, but still, they are absolutely massacring the trade route here, and that's, well, I think the Deities of Death are absolutely unaware of this horrible thing happening for them, because without trade route, they won't have enough gold to supply for their Colossi and whatnot. This is quite a lot of army here from both Sensui player and Fen, so both three, all three TSMs, which means Ragnarok is basically dead, but at the same time that's a whole lot of army from all three TSMs being engaged in defending the home, and they better be careful so that they are not surprised in their forward bases. This allows Killer Boy to go slightly forward, as player has absolutely no army here, and well, he better hurry up to actually get back into the battlefield or somewhere into the attack. They have to take line of sight on these Titans, because if they can take them down, they could stop the Deities of Death in their tracks, because that's, I think, their main hope of success. On the left side, Fen somehow lost the TC. The front push for Menendez again, and well, will he be able to somehow retake it yet? He's having his army there, so he might be able to. And since Fan is still having everything inside his base, might be in a bit of a tough situation. But he's already back, so yeah, no problem for him. And this is just a matter of moments before he takes care of the situation at this beachhead. Some Titan grenades being cast by absolutely everybody from TSM's team, so they will be very interested in trying to defend them. And well, Gold Colossi fighting against Silver Colossi, and some extra army from those Fire Giants. Well, Odysseus is the one to try to take care of them together with Jason and Hercules and Bellerophon as well. So this is TSM player returning back to his home base, or rather home base, his base of attack. His opponents doing pretty well, and here we see well, some extra shenanigans from some transport ship happening from player and trying to deny some extra gold and the trade route altogether to Deities of Death. So they are doing pretty good job, and DoDs are absolutely oblivious to what is happening there altogether. They are not aware of this, not aware of this either, and they are just completely consumed in trying to make sure that they push through and somehow punish player for the Ragnarok here. The first Titan is built, and that's one from Rangers, but otherwise Titan gates are cropping up from everybody. On the left, it seems like Fen is right now in a pretty good position to retake the TC, having quite enough army here, but the Titan will quite probably take it down yet again. But if he can fortify the position well enough and build some extra siege like Helepoli, he might be able to take down the Titan without the help of his own. So, pretty good job at this point, as Fen is definitely on the offensive, and Rangers has to defend quite substantially together with Brigade as well, and it seems like on the right side it will be more or less just Brigade's Iron Giants joined by Killer Boy's army in the red. They have been able to take down players DC, but that won't really last for long because Century is here fully, and that's going to result into proper 2 versus 1.5, I think, and that's not the position that Killer Boy should be somehow controlling. You mustn't forget that TSM still have both underworld passages, so they are very open and to some potential surprise attacks on their opponents, which they are already doing through the beach, through the landings on the beach there. So let's have a look there. Finally, Killer Boy has noticed and trying to make sure that it's nothing to be worried about with its Colossi. This Titan is almost up. Still kind of curious why they are not trying to attempt, and they are not attempting to take it down through the underworld passage. They still have 2 of them, so they won't be really losing anything all that badly. But they are right now concentrating on trying to secure their positions and making sure that they survive the onslaught of the Titan from the Deities of Death. Them themselves though have 3 Titans right now, and Titan Gate from green is just being finished, so it seems like 3 Titans versus 2 should be the deciding factor at this point, especially when TSM have the DC advantage on the left, with Fen being between 3 and 4 and Rangers being at just 2, and right now he's the one with Titan, so he is basically at just 1 TC pop-wise, which results in absolutely no army whatsoever otherwise. This is a pretty dangerous position for Deities of Death, as Brighead should be the one helping on the left side fully, because again, as I said, there is no army for Rangers because he doesn't have room for it, and this might be the moment where actually everything changes for Deities of Death for the wars. Player right now trying to make his presence count again. Yet another attempt at a surprise beaching, playing pretty well here. Towers to get to protect it, and once the temple is up, that's going to be quite a lot of guys in gold trying to take down TCs right in the middle of Deities of Death bases, but that's going to be probably stopped by the Titan that has just been finished and is trying to put a stop to all this nonsense. But will they be able to? Well, the Colossi is ready, but well, just missing a bit of a pop time. Right now on the right side we see that Sensui together with player are pushing Killer Boy back, which is expected as they are fighting 2 versus 1, so there is absolutely nothing that at this point Killer Boy can do. And well, with the Titan in place as well, this should result in DC being killed for Killer Boy pretty soon, which will further worsen the situation and help TSM secure the position on the left. So bolt being cast on the left, while we see a very decent battle of 3 titans on the left side with a lot of Helepoli. Rangers' titan being almost dead, while Fans and Sensuis are basically full health. So yep, this is pretty much a position where DoDs didn't want to fight themselves, and TSMs are at this point heading into the last stage of their game on this map. So Titan of Rangers do just like 2 swings on the yellow one, and this will be Fence 4 TC and a lot of dead military buildings, and also quite soon TCs in Rangers' base as well. So another Titan battle going to happen here, with Sensui basically trying to fight off Rangers or Brigade, but he should be careful. You don't want to fight the Titan alone. Come on, you need to run away, or at least hit it. Yeah, he is hitting it, and once Fenjo is in the fun, it should result in this Titan getting down all that sooner. And right now, if Sensui waited a bit longer for Fen, he could have had quite a lot of hit points against him. So right now Brigade is trying to control where the Titans are going, trying to make them not take down the TCs, which is a pretty good strategy if TSMs fall for it, which they seem to be at this point. But still, Fen is having quite a lot of TCs and enough extra army besides the Titan to try and take down what is happening on the left. On the right side, Killer Boy has lost the TC, as was expected to the Titan, and he will lose yet another to the half-health Titan forward player again. And this means that yellow together with blue are definitely eaten into Killer Boy's base without all that much extra army. They are just having a lot of siege and trying to control the buildings so that Killer Boy cannot put up any resistance whatsoever. With no TCs, he is very limited with having opt release. Well, this is exactly what is happening, with Helepoli being basically the only army Killer Boy right now has pursuing this Titan. Some extra beachhead still continuing from player, having some temple here together with some Helepoli from a fortress. On the bit of the left, Brigade's Titan is almost dead, but he has been able to nullify Fence attempts here, and there was a bit of a beachhead from player as well, which is killed also. But well, this is already down to 1 TC only, and he will be quite soon at 0 TCs without too many chances to actually somehow retake them. At the same time, Fen has lost his TC because Brigade is making full appearance on the left side, and his teammate somehow contain the situation. And he's doing a pretty good job together with the legendary Jarls, as they are pretty good against the Colossi, or pretty good. They are not half bad, and since they are having the bonus against the mythical units, they are helping. But as you can see, it's not enough, and since Sensui is switching from the right side to the left as well, trying to help his teammate, they just might be able to push through with enough force. On the right side, it seems decidedly going into player's favor, as he is not needing extra help from Sensui, who is just building some palaces and basically going for just some fire siphons. And this TC should be in his power, even though those towers are here, they will be killed pretty soon, and this amount of release should be taking the TC in just a matter of moments, without too much opposition, I would guess. The Titan from player is still very much alive, wreaking havoc at the back of the deities of that bases, basically denying them any kind of population limit. And well, finally the first underworld passage from Fen has been cast, and it's from here to here, and since he is feeling pretty safe here, well, better we consider that, but with Sensui's help he is trying to take down the TC of Brighead and sending quite a lot of release to secure the position around the underworld passage and also retake the TC to his side. And once that happens, I would kinda guess that the DoDs will be very close to calling it a game, because that would be one TC too many to fight against for them. So yeah, this is a pretty good and surprising tactic for his opponents, because they don't really have the population limit to fight against it, and the sheer amount of release should result in the TC being built quite occasionally. It seems it's up, so let's have a look back on the right side, where the player is capturing front TC of Killer Boy, also without so much as a opposition, and DoDs call it a day, and TSM are leading 1-0 in the quarterfinals against the DoDs. GG, and pretty nice game and a very well executed Mediterranean from Tsunami Clan. So let's have a look at the post game. Where we have seen that Fan was the MVP. I would kinda say that player was slightly better, but yeah, you see just 200 difference, but they definitely know how to play their Zeuses in the team games. Pretty good job TSM on that. Yeah, player having pretty beastly echo here. Some resources distributed from dots, but it wasn't enough. And very good military count and unit skill ratio. And not so good for Brigade, but that's basically because of the Ragnarok. Rangers is most used mythical unit, Pegasi, which is understandable considering the start of the game, where he used them quite a lot on the water battle. But still 26, that's a decent number. And they did help him. Wow, Fan and player having such strong echoes, they really could have afforded to easily kill their Willies and move and have some extra spots for the military. Well, definitely Fan. You can see 4,000 gold, 4,000 food. He definitely had too many Willies. Could have killed quite a lot of them. Didn't have to have 100 of them. Alright, GG then.